Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Marilyn, and first of all I want to thank my new subscribers. I've been working very hard to make more videos lately, partly because of March Mystery Madness, but not only because of that, and I'll go into that in a second why. I want to get into a little personal business first before I show you my wonderful biggest haul that I've made in a year or more, book haul. So it's been a little bit of a stressful week for me. I haven't left the house in like 2 weeks, and what this does is it exasperates my anxiety, which is specifically agoraphobia, and that's a fear of leaving the house. And I'm not afraid of leaving the house, I just don't have an opportunity to leave the house because I don't drive. I live in the country, and everyone who can drive me places is working or busy. So when I don't leave the house for a long time, it stresses me out, and yeah, so it's difficult. Having anxiety is a difficult it's a difficult mental illness to have. They all are difficult in their own ways, and I've healed so much during my life of panic attacks. I don't get them anymore, crossing fingers, and the agoraphobia, and also some health anxiety, which comes and goes. But I'm doing really well when I can get out. Now, why don't I get out? Why did I get out before and I don't get out now? My physical therapist and my doctor both dumped me. Well, one closed, so I can't blame them, but my doctor dumped me. And these were like, it sounds kind of weird, but I used these excursions as ways of getting out of my neighborhood and walking and exercising. And I am exercising a lot, and I'm doing a lot of videos, but it's not the same. I live in Hawaii. I want to see nature. I want to go out, and that is my goal for the next week, is to just get out of the house, because 2 weeks is way too long to stay in. Okay, enough of my my personal problems, but I know that a lot of people do suffer from anxiety. This like part of the population, a certain percentage of the population suffers from anxiety. So I know I'm not alone, and when I do videos I feel even less alone. I make friends, and it's wonderful. It's really wonderful, the friends that I've made here. So this month I'm a co-host for March Mystery Madness, and that has put some extra stress on me, and though I'm really enjoying myself and I have more time to read, so that's good, but I'm trying to be the best host that I can be, especially because this year we're honoring Janelle of Too Fond of Books, who sadly passed away last year. And she was a very good friend of mine, and she did videos every single day this month. But I am not doing videos every single day, but I'm doing more videos than I've done in a long time. Okay, so we're here for the book haul, and this is the biggest, best book haul that I've done in like a year, as I've said. And I'm very excited because I went out of my comfort zone for these books. And let's just get started. The first book that I want to talk about are books that I actually bought with my own money. And one is for March Mystery Madness and one isn't. So the one that's for March Mystery Madness was recommended by Lil of Lil's Vintage World, and it's A Miss Silver Mystery by Patricia Wentworth, Poison in the Pen. And this is a reread for me, but I wanted to add this to my collection because Lil says it's one of her best books, Patricia Wentworth's best books. So when a mysterious suicide follows an outbreak of poison pen letters in the quiet village of Tilling Green, Detective Inspector Frank Abbott of Scotland Yard dispatches Miss Silver to investigate. That's all we need to know about this. And it's quite, I wouldn't say it's lengthy, but it's a good read. And I'm looking forward to rereading it this month. And I'm really excited about the second book that I bought, because it's a book that I didn't think I would want to buy. It has the best title. I mean, really, I had to think about what it meant. It's Like a Mule Bringing Ice Cream to the Sun by Sarah Ladipo Manyika. She's a Nigerian author. Here's the cover. So I thought that this, when you think of a mule, slow, ice cream, melting, sun, hot, we can kind of get an idea of what the author is trying to say. Now this book was a finalist for the Goldsmith Prize, the Northern California Book Award, and the California Book Award. It's been translated into 6 languages. And like I said, it's a Nigerian author. A few years back, I went on one of those websites like Ancestry, but it's not Ancestry, and found out that I have Nigerian, like 20% Nigerian. Could you believe that? It comes from my Puerto Rican side, but Nigerian ancestry. So I was interested in learning more about Nigerian literature. So what is this about? First of all, the book sounds like right up my street. It says, Muriel de Silva, a cosmopolitan Nigerian woman, lives in hip San Francisco. On the cusp of 75, hello, she's in good health and makes the most of it, enjoying road trips in her vintage Porsche, chatting to strangers, and recollecting characters from her favorite novels. Then she has a fall and her independence crumbles. Okay, could this be more up my alley? I'm on the cusp of 74, and I've had 4 falls this year, but thankfully my independence is still there, because I didn't hurt myself in those falls, because I think I didn't hurt myself because I'm doing strength. I was going to PT, physical therapy, and I was doing strength exercising. And when I fell, even though it was a hard fall, I didn't break anything, and I was able to recover in a few days. But I can understand if that's the scariest thing for an older woman, is to fall, break her hip, and then your life crumbles. I heard also that this is a quiet book, but it says here, like the dusty spines on Muriel's bookshelves, every character in this novel hides a vibrant, teeming inner world behind an unspectacular facade, and that she's intelligent and a survivor of a large life. In dreamlike prose, Manyika dips in and out of the present, her past, in a story that argues always for generosity, for connection, for a vigorous and joyous endurance. If aging be a lamp, like Muriel, the protagonist is a mesmerizing glow. I love that. I love when older characters are presented not cartoonish, but sensual and vibrant, no matter what happens to them. Anyway, I'm looking forward to reading this, and that's why I bought it. The other book is, now I'm going to go on to the new releases, and this is also Irish Reading Month. I'll have that down below. And I picked up from my library The Bee Sting by Paul Murray. I haven't read anything by Paul Murray, but look at this. This is a chunker. And I read mostly at night, and I can imagine this falling down on me. So I'm going to look actually, I want to read this on audio because Irish storytellers you want to hear it in an Irish lilt, and you want to feel the storytelling aspect of it. And this is about a family. So the Barnes family is in trouble. And Dickie's once lucrative car business is going under, but Dickie is spending his days in the wood building an apocalypse-proof bunker with a renegade handyman. So you can see that there's going to be a lot of problems in this family, but they're going to deal with it in a hilarious manner. And that's what I love so much about Irish literature, that they can make me laugh even when you're crying. And I'm thinking of Angela's Ashes was something like that. It was so sad, and then by the end I was on the floor, just really, I couldn't contain myself. So I'm looking forward to reading this newer release, The Bee Sting. And if you've read it, please let me know in the comments what I have to look forward to. But no, I can't read this in this book, in this publication. And also, my library wants me to read it in a week. It's a hot pick. So no, I can't read that fast anyway. All right, now another new release that I want to read in audio that I just picked up is The Heaven on Earth Grocery Store by James McBride. And it's the winner of the National Book Award. And it has a lot of, his mother was Jewish. He didn't know this until he was a teenager. And his father was black. So he has a very interesting history. And in this book, I read one book by him, The Color of Water. I didn't love it, I'll be honest with you, but I knew that he had a great big future ahead of him when I read that book. So what it says is, and I think this is based on a true story from what I've read about it. In 1972, when workers in Pottstown, Pennsylvania were digging the foundations of a new housing development, the last thing they expected to uncover was a human skeleton. Who the skeleton was and how it got buried there were just two of the long-held secrets that had been kept for decades by the residents of Chicken Hill, the dilapidated neighborhood where immigrant Jews and African Americans lived side by side, sharing ambitions and sorrows. Just that made me want to read it, and I want to listen to it because it seems like, I read a few pages and it seems like a story that I want to hear. It also, very oddly for me, made me think of my own background growing up in a Brooklyn projects where we were mostly at that time in the 50s were African Americans and Jewish people. So I do, and I'm half Jewish and half Puerto Rican. So the Puerto Ricans at that time didn't move into the project yet. So it was mostly what he's describing and how these immigrant Jews got along or didn't get along sometimes with their African American neighbors. It's dedicated to Cy Friend, who taught all of us the meaning of Tikkun Olam, and that means repairing the world. So it says here that this story was bringing his masterful storytelling skills and his deep faith in humanity to the Heaven and Earth grocery store. James McBride has written a novel as compassionate as Deacon King Kong and as inventive as the Good Lord Bird. I haven't read those two books, but I want to listen to this on audio because it seems like it's a story. Okay, I think I talked about that enough. On the same wavelength as James McBride, I'm going to talk about James Baldwin, and I'm reading this because of booktube, and this is If Beale Street Could Talk, and I think it was made into either a TV series or a movie, but I haven't seen it and I haven't read the book, but I have read James Baldwin. And in this honest and stunning novel, James Baldwin has given America a moving story of love in the face of injustice, told through the eyes of Tish, a 19-year-old girl in love with Fani, a young sculptor who is the father of her child. Baldwin's story mixes the sweet and the sad. Tish and Fani have pledged to get married, but Fani is falsely accused of a terrible crime and imprisons, and their family set out to clear their name. James Baldwin is such a wonderful writer that I will read everything that he wrote. So I'm looking forward to reading this book. Another book that is mine and that I got from that infamous library book sale that everything is just wonderful, but I haven't got to this yet, is The Book of Ruth by Jane Hamilton. And she wrote A Map of the World, but I think this is her debut novel. And it won the Hemingway Foundation Penn Award for Best First Novel in 1988. An awkward Midwest girl, Ruth, is growing up in the small town of Honey Creek, Illinois. Elmer, her father, left the family when she was 10, leaving her mother, May, feeling bitter. May is unhappy with and disappointed in Ruth because she is nothing like her shining brother, Matt, who is a mathematical genius with a scholarship to MIT. Their mother is crushed when Matt moves away to Boston after graduation and is left with Ruth, who takes a job at the local dry cleaner shop. I heard this is a coming-of-age story that it was told in first person, and somebody, I don't remember if it was on Goodreads or not, said that diminishes the novel, that it was written in first person. But I love first person novels, so I'm looking forward to reading this sooner rather than later. A novel that I'm reading now, and it's the second one of this author, Muriel Spark, is called The Finishing School. And I just started it, and I'm reading in the original way, in the original publication. It was written in 2004, and already I'm loving it. And it's in large print, so I can read this, and it's very short. And basically, it's about writing, but it's also about a finishing school for writers, but it's a finishing school for boys and girls. And College Sunrise is a somewhat louche and vaguely disreputable finishing school located in Lausanne, Switzerland. And I think so far I read that this is a husband and wife team. They want to make a school that is going to give them money, and their idea is to move from place to place. But the husband is a wannabe writer, and I think he becomes jealous of one of his students. And this sounds like a lot of fun. I think Muriel Spark is going to, with her dark humor, is going to poke fun into writers and writing in general, and I'm here for it. Okay, the next books that I'm going to read are for March Mystery Madness, and one of them is an author I haven't read yet, Kate Atkinson, and I heard of her from BookTube, and it's Case Histories. It says she also wrote Behind the Scenes at the Museum. I haven't read anything by Kate Atkinson, but this book is divided into three case histories, case 1, case 2, case 3, and how they're connected. So a private detective, Jason Brody, and I think that's the name of her private detective in all of her novels. As private detective, Jason Brody investigates all three cases. Startling connections and discoveries emerge, and that's all I'm going to say about it. But if you've read Kate Atkinson or Case Histories, please let me know if I should read this right away. I'm trying to read as many mysteries as I can this month, but what was his name? Regis Philbin says, I'm only one man, so I'm only one woman. So I'll do the best I can. A book that I want to read sooner rather than later, a mystery, is Cruel is the Night. And it's a Japanese novel translated from the Finnish, and I think it's the Finnish. It says translated by Owen Witzman. Yeah, from the Finnish. Originally, so his name, the author, is Karo Hamalainen. I'm not sure if that's a Finnish name, but it could be that he's half Finnish. It doesn't sound, because of the little dots on top of some of the letters, I think it's not Japanese. I did live in Japan for a while, and I don't remember seeing that. It says, Toronto Star says it ranges from darkly humorous to just plain terrifying. Hamalainen is a wicked and controlled writer who rarely allows his readers a moment of peace. I don't know if I like that so much. I'm just reading a book that's a mystery that sort of was like that, and it kind of made me a little nervous, more thrillery than mystery. But I found this book also when I was doing research on locked room mysteries, and this one sounded interesting. It's a literary homage to Agatha Christie and a black comedy locked room mystery about murder, mayhem, and morality in our cynical modern world. So 4 Finnish friends with tangled histories meet for dinner in an opulent London apartment. Robert and Mikko were once inseparable but had a falling out a decade ago. Robert has made millions from legal but unethical financial trading, which didn't sit well with the ideological Mikko, who has devoted his journalistic career to bringing down corrupt politicians and businessmen. Also present are Mikko's wife Vera, with whom Robert had a secret affair. Oh, this sounds really... It's a tangled web for sure. So I'm looking forward to Cruel is the Night. If you've read this book, please let me know what you think of it. I got it out of the library, and I need to know which books I need to read before I return them. Some books you can, in Hawaii, you can renew for another 2 weeks, and some are 2 weeks and some are 1 week. So I have to figure it out. Okay, now this is an interesting one because it made me think, yay, I still have all my marbles. This is Raven Black by Anne Cleves, and I got this. It says it's a thriller. It's a winner of the Dagger Award, the Duncan Lowry Dagger Award, and it was written quite a while ago. It was copyrighted in 2006, and I think she's written many books since then, Anne Cleves. So the story of this book, my story, is that when I read the blurb, I said, that sounds familiar. By the first few words, I said, I read it! Didn't love it, but I don't know why. And I think that's a question in one of the Tag Tuesdays that have just come out that I'm trying to do. So what is this about? Raven Black begins at New Year's Eve with a lonely outcast named Magnus Tate, who stays home waiting for visitors who never come. But the next morning, the body of a murdered teenage girl is discovered nearby, and suspicion falls on Magnus. Inspector Jimmy Perez enters an investigative maze that leads deeper into the past of the Shetland Islands than anyone wants to go. And if I'm correct, I think that Magnus does have agoraphobia, which I talked about at the beginning. So this says chilling enough to freeze the blood. So it's an atmospheric thriller. So I don't remember exactly why I didn't love this book, but a lot of people loved it. So if this sounds good to you, it's Raven Black. My next book is another author I've never read before, and her name is Amanda Cross. And I have to say this title like this. It just makes me want to say it like this. Sweet death, kind death. And what it's about is even Kate Fansler, the professor sleuth who blows like an astringent wind through the ivy of academic, is puzzled by the death of Patrice, these names, Umfelby of Clare Cottage. Patrice has everything to live for. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. She was a renowned historian, a successful novelist, and a genuine personality. That was why her suicide by drowning in the campus lake shocked everyone from college president to department secretary. But when Kate is called in, ostensibly to head a committee on gender studies, secretly to investigate Patrice's death, she discovers that all was not as peaceful as Claire as it seemed. I want to ask if you've read Amanda Cross. This is a quite yellowish old book. It was June of '84, and I like what it says in it. It says, like Dorothy Sayers, Amanda Cross writes with intelligence, grace, and wit. I hope terrible things keep happening in Kate Fansler's circle, because watching her solve a murder case is such a pleasure. And that was Susan Isaacs, who was an author I used to read. She used to write women's fiction. She wrote Compromising Positions and Close Relatives, and I remember reading some of her work in the 70s. So, yeah, even the Washington Post says Cross wears the mantle of learning jauntily, whatever that means. Anyway, I think I'm going to read this just because I want to say it again. Sweet death, kind death. And it actually, I was going to look where that came from. It's from quotations from Me Again, Uncollected Writings of Stevie Smith. If you know who Stevie Smith is, please let me know, because this is what he wrote, or she wrote that he wrote in the introduction. Why do I think of death as a friend? It is because he is a scatterer. He scatters the human frame, the nervousness, and the great pain, throws it on the fresh air, and now it is nowhere. Only sweet death does that. Sweet death, kind death, of all the gods, you are the best. Scary! But I want to read it. Don't worry, I'm getting to the end. So, Tana French is my favorite literary crime writer. And she wrote another book called, I think it's The Hunter. And I took it out of the library. It's a new book. And they wanted me to read a 400 pound, it felt like 400 pounds, a 400-page book in a week. And I said, no, I'll wait. And again, I listened to the sample of the audiobook, but I kind of didn't like the narrator. So I don't know if I'm going to continue with Libby on The Hunter, but I recommend this book highly. It's Tana French's In the Woods. I loved it. It's also quite it's almost 600 pages, but I loved every word. 20 years ago, Detective Rob Ryan and his partner Cassie Maddox came to the woods to investigate the murder of another child. But Ryan is keeping a secret of his own. He's changed his name. No one knows about his past. And now, with only threads of memory to guide him, he has to unravel not only the mystery before him, but also the one hidden in the shadows of his mind. And it says that, and I agree, that In the Woods is an engrossing, richly atmospheric mystery and a piercing exploration of memory, identity, and the cracks that run through both. So if you haven't picked up Tana French, this is one of her best books, and it's a recommendation and a reread for me. What isn't a reread for me is Rex Stout's Father Hunt, another Nero Wolfe novel. And I won't talk much about it. I already did my Monday, Mystery Mondays on Nero Wolfe. But she's 22 years old, a Smith graduate, charming, intelligent, appealing. And when she buttonholed, I love that, buttonholed, Archie Goodwin, she had a very simple request. She hadn't the faintest idea who her father was, had never seen him or heard of him, and wanted to learn who and where he was. She also, it turned out, had something in excess of $250,000 mysteriously received from the father, but she doesn't care about that. Or does she? I want to read that and find out. Okay, I only have one more book, and that's The Devotion of Suspect X. Also a closed circle mystery, I think, because that's what I was looking for when I found it. And it's by Keigo Higashinio. And it's from Japan's most popular best-selling author today, comes his most critically acclaimed, award-winning work. More than 2 million copies sold, and the basis of a blockbuster movie. I think I want to see that movie. So Yasuko Hanaoka, a divorced single mother, thought she had finally escaped her abusive ex-husband. But when he shows up one day threatening both her and her teenage daughter, Misato, the situation quickly escalates and he ends up dead on the apartment floor. Without hesitation, her enigmatic neighbor, Ishigami, a brilliant math teacher whose devotion to Yasuko runs deep, offers to calculate the perfect alibi. His one condition is that the two women must follow his directions to the letter. And then we have a detective who's Kusanagi of the Tokyo police, faced with a brutal murder and evidence that doesn't add up. And he asked I had to read it because it's really interesting. He seeks the advice of his college friend, Dr. Manabu Yukara, a brilliant physicist nicknamed Detective Galileo. So, yeah, sounds interesting. So I hope you enjoyed this big, beautiful book haul, and also get some recommendations from the books that I've presented to you. Like I said, I'm doing a lot of videos this week, and I'm trying my best to give you my all, to do my all, not only to gain more subscribers. Anyway, press the notification bell if you want to hear more of me and the books that I love. Please subscribe and comment. I love your comments, and I will see you in the next video very, very soon. I hope I haven't gone over too much on this video, but I really had so many books that I wanted to haul for so long. Tell me, which book should I read first? And I wish you all a calm, and myself, a calm, wonderful, active, grateful. Gratitude is so important. No matter how our lives look, even to others, if you're grateful for the little things in life, and I know that sounds, like a whole bunch of, what do they call those, affirmations? But it's so true. As I get older, I'm more grateful just to be able to live and to eat good food and to breathe clean air and to drink clean water. Some people in the world don't have that luxury. So I am grateful for life and wish you all the best. So until we meet again, and someone asked me why I say aloha. I've lived here almost a half a century, so I'm Kama'aina, long-time resident. So I can say, even though I'm not Hawaiian, I can say to you, aloha.